Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Dr. Malik Nawashuja. I'm again with my another lecture, which is on general virology, lecture number 14. So today I'm going to focus on single-stranded RNA viruses. So in my lecture today is a single-stranded RNA virus with a negative sense. So the best example of this is the rabies virus. These are the contents of my lecture today. I will focus on the definition, introduction, taxonomy, pathogenesis, diagnosis, signs and symptoms of the rabies virus, and then mode of transmission. And in the last, we will talk about the treatment and prevention of rabies virus. So, before going into detail, let us put some light on the family Rhabdoviridae. Family Rhabdoviridae is that family of viruses which infect human beings as well as other mammals which are served as a natural host. So rabies virus basically belong to this family and primarily spread through animals bite. So the natural reservoir of Rhabdoviridae are dogs, cats, jackals, wolves and bats in the jungle. So it should be noted that viruses of this family has a specific feature such as all those viruses in this family are single-stranded RNA viruses and all these RNA viruses are present in the negative sense. So before going in detail, so let me explain what is a rabies virus and something about much more about the rabies virus. So rabies virus is basically is a species of Lassa virus, formerly known as rabies virus, and it is a neurotropic virus that causes rabies in humans and animals. Rabies transmission occurs through bite of animals because this virus is usually present in the saliva of animals and less commonly through contact with human saliva. Yes, I already explained that rabies virus is a RNA-based virus in the family of rhabdoviruses. So if the bite of a rabid dog is not treated uh, in the early stages, so it is usually fatal. Virus can affect the body in one or two ways. So basically, this virus enter into peripheral nervous system and directly migrate to the brains. Once it goes to the brain, it control the central nervous system and it replicate over there, and then it control the kidneys, eyes, and other glands of the human system. So it basically controls the nervous system of human beings. And the virus is usually transmitted to the bite of rabid dogs or lick of rabid dogs. So if we are talking about the genomic architecture of a rabies virus, so viruses in this family are usually enveloped viruses which having a single stranded RNA genome with a negative sense, and the size of the genome of the rabies virus usually from 11,000 kb to uh, up to 12,000 kb in length. 12 kb in length. So the genetic information pack is a ribonucleoprotein complex in which the RNA is tightly bound by the viral nucleoproteins. So the RNA present is usually coded for 5 genes, and they are coded for the nucleoprotein, phosphoprotein, matrix protein, glycoprotein, and they find the RNA polymerase, which is responsible for the production of positive strands, and then that strand will be used for the uh, as a template for the production of negative strands. during the process of replication. So if we are talking about the genomic architecture of virus, so it encodes for five proteins. So these proteins are the nucleoproteins. In cases of RNA, phosphoproteins associated with the ribonucleoprotein core, and which is followed by the matrix protein. So these are the matrix protein. Central protein of the rhabdo glycoproteins. Glycoproteins form 400 dimetric spikes. So these are the trimetric spikes, and these spikes play a vital role during the attachment. And final one is the polymerase transcribe genomic strand of the rabies RNA. So this is the molecule. These are the five proteins encoded, and these are the in this column we can see the molecular weight of each glycoprotein, and then we must know about the function of uh, each gene which is encoded for the RNA. For example, L is encoded for the RNA dependent RNA polymerase and glycoproteins that is also serve as a surface antigen and so on. If we are talking about the pathogens of rabies virus, so it can be easily categorized or grouped into three different categories: slight risk, moderate risk, and great risk or higher risk. So in the first category, the touching or feeding animals bite skin is in contact. So there are chances that if we are doing some sort of activity in which the touching and feeding animals per skin is come in contact, so there are a little bit chances are we are at risk. In the second category, which is considered to be a moderate risk, so minor scratches without bleeding from contact or less on broken skin. So it should be noted that broken skin, so they are also categorized in the second category. In the last category, so people are at higher risk, one or more bite scratches, less unbroken skin or other contact that break the skin. So it should be noted that those people at category 3, they are usually at high risk. So there are five general categories or stages of rabies virus for its pathogenicity. In the early general stage is the incubation. It takes maybe 4 days, maybe 5 days, maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. So up to 3 months has been reported that the virus can be incubated. Prodromal is a medical term uh, which is basically based on the first symptoms of its appearance. On the basis we can categorize the viral symptoms. Then acute neurological phase. So in initial stages, what are the basic symptoms in which the nervous system has been show its excitation, and the rabies virus show its symptoms in the animal as well as in the human beings. Once from this acute stage, the patient or the animal enter into the higher stage, which is a coma stage, that is then um, finally go to the last stage, that is death. At coma stage, there are minimum chances of a patient to recover. Ultimately, it moves toward another stage that is called the death. So these are the general stages on the basis of which we can categorize the rabies virus: incubation, prodromal, acute, coma, and finally death. So this graph basically shows the uh, from the bite stage till the death stage. From incubation, prodrome, it means that when the symptoms appear, because Every virus has its basic symptoms. For example, HCV virus, we are infecting if the liver is developed from acute stage to chronic stage. Definitely, we are feeling some sort of weakness, loss of appetite, loss of weight, and the color become more yellowish, and we become more and more weak. So these are basically the symptoms. Like this, rabies virus has its own basic symptoms, and these symptoms once start appearing, it means the virus start its multiplication and it's slow and gradually controlling your nervous system. So from that acute stage, it finally enters into the coma stage, and coma stage maybe 4 days, maybe 5 days, maybe 2 weeks, and then there are minimum chances that the person or the patient recover from the coma stage, because these are considered the last stages, because virus at peak it completely control the nervous system, then it badly damages your nervous system, and its negri bodies has been distributed into different parts of your body, even a kidney, your eyes. So uh, one thing I'm going to miss. So that is the incubation period. Incubation period takes more and more time, and it because the virus it takes more time depend on the site of its bite and the moment it moves from their side to the brain, so it takes time. So this is the whole story which represented has been shown in this slide. In the early stages, the is the viral bite, because uh, in the third world countries most cases has been reported due to the bite of street dogs, because there are uh, so many reports has been available that the virus has been reported because of the stray dogs, uh, free dogs in the streets. They are moving, and there is no monitoring community to control all these viruses and probably vaccinate them with a regular interval of time. So, so the in countries like Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So the most cases has been reported because of the rapid dogs, which play a vital role in spreading of the viral disease, specifically rabies disease. Then it replicate inside the muscles. From the muscles, it move. The virus bind to nicotinic acetylcholine receptors at the neuromuscular junctions, and then finally it reach to the brains, and from the brain it's again it start inflammation, and then it's spread or enter into the salivary glands and other organ of the victim, and basically at this stage it shows its maximum control. So this was all about the different categories of the virus we have. Now, in the next lecture, we will put some light on the control, treatment, and precautionary measure of the rabies virus.